Hello and welcome to Vassals of Kingsgrave. This is going to be DragonCast, House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 4. I don't believe it's named yet, unless somebody else wants to correct me. But yeah, so let's get started on some lemon cakes. This has been a bit of an highly anticipated episode this week. So let's start with Adam.
Okay. I will... I want to give this a 5. This was a really, really good episode of television, and we knew it was coming, and they did it well. But I'm gonna give it a 4.75 because the shit with Rhaenyra just being gone for days without anyone knowing, and I'm surprised Dragonstone wasn't empty when she came back with a sign that was the war's over, I guess. That was really stupid. It made her going to King's Landing last episode really stupid, but no, this was really, really good. I was excited, and I think the episode name is A Dance of Dragons. That's been the leaked name for forever, but it still doesn't say it on the
it's
on the
red dragon, the red dragon and the gold.
Is it?
That's what's showing up on my TV.
Interesting, because that's not what the New York Times is calling it.
New York Times is wrong.
I mean, I guess they had to miss once.
Yeah, no, that would be a good name, but this name has been up as a leaked name for weeks now, so I don't know. It's just a placeholder maybe then.
All right, well, I'm gonna believe HBO above all, and gonna call it the Red Dragon and the Gold. All right, let's go with Ben next.
The red dragon danced with a gold dragon. Dragon dance.
And there's a green one.
There was a green one as well, an old one too. Anyway, I enjoyed this episode a lot more than the last one. I think I'd give it something like a 5 out of 5. It was pretty good. It was pretty great. Cinematography was stunning. Again, this season has, I think, been leaps and bounds better in terms of that than season 1, and it continues to stun me every time I see something. The set piece was amazing as well, and yeah, good episode overall. Dagger Talk returns again. I groaned audibly, but we deal with what we do.
How about you, Michal?
I give this no lemon cakes, but 10 fingernail marks on my face, because that's the number of fingernail marks that are on my face from watching this episode. So, yeah, I thought this is kind of everything by which, I want in an episode of House of the Dragon, which is to say, lots of conversations, lots of politics, lots of weird, creepy shit, and stuff that ultimately leads to an inevitability that is horrible and fantastic to watch. I was just overjoyed and horrified and whatever watching the actual the dragons come together in the sky. I'm sorry, it's just really amazing. I really liked it. It's awful, but I loved it. And also I feel rather vindicated in assuming that Aemond would really be trying to finish off Aegon in this event. And they actually fooled me for a half second. I was like, wait, are they going to get Rhaenys out of this? And then no, definitely not.
Awesome. How about you, Katie?
I'll give it 5 out of 5 cups of moon tea. I really love this episode. Even though I guess the one caveat to that is that as much as I really loved Damon's dream sequence last episode, I'm starting to fear that this is going to be his full season of just wandering around dank Harrenhal, getting mysteriously whispered to by the women in his life. Yeah, there was a lot of great drama in the build-up to the final scene. I really loved Alicent disrespecting her son, and Aemond humiliating Aegon at the council meeting. It was good. It was good television.
Awesome. And Matt, it looks like you've joined us. How many lemon cakes would you give this episode?
Hello. This is the one we've been waiting for. They fucking nailed it. 5 out of 5.
Hell yeah. All right. So I would also give it a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed watching it. We got a battle. I feel like things are finally going. I feel like things should have been going sooner. But here we are, and things are happening. Really awesome dragon/battle fight. And it was great to watch. It was disgusting at points. I also just really like the creepiness of everybody, the creepiness of Harrenhal with, especially with little Rhaenyra coming back into all these scenes. I do wonder if this is like up next on House of the Dragon. Let's see what happens this week with Rhaenyra's head. It seems like I don't know if it's a recurring thing or if this is just these couple of episodes. All right. So I'm going to go in order and we'll save the battle for last, as it was last. But at the beginning, we get Damon opening a creaking door, and he's in the Great Hall at King's Landing, and we see little Rhaenyra, another time we see Millie back in the show, which is awesome. She comes down the stairs, and he immediately just beheads her. And while that, before that they were speaking in High Valyrian, which is nice to see back in the show again. Kind of was missing the Valyrian in the episodes. And yeah, this was just fun for me, from a horror point of view. I really enjoyed it. How are you guys feeling?
Every time we get a Harrenhal scene, I'm like, this is the best scene I've seen ever. This is like peak. We've returned to peak again, and it keeps happening. Every time I get Damon just being freaked the fuck out in Harrenhal, it's I love it. More of it, please.
He wakes up and his hand is bloody.
And then it's not. He looks at it again and his hand is not bloody.
Yeah, they do a few tricks, when he's in the council meeting later, it's whenever they move the camera, I was like, are there 2 people here? Or is there a full, are there 8 people at this table? I felt like it kept switching. It was, that stuff is fun. It's dream logic.
Yeah.
We were actually, no, it's okay. Greg and I were actually arguing about, the bloody hand. We, one of us thought that it has to be real if it was bloody afterwards. But I'm like, no, I think it was just, weird dream shit. He thought his hand was still bloody and it wasn't, actually.
I think it's the idea, obviously, is that you're being fucked with as well as through Harrenhal, as well as Damon, which I love. I thought that was great. I also thought I was going crazy for a second when, how many people were in the room? I was like, wait, did we see this already? I thought, yeah, it was super cool. I also had, for half a second, the thought of Damon got his period.
Oh boy.
That's great.
Also a tag on AO3 buttons.
Are you there, the Red God?
Go ahead, Katie.
No, I was just gonna make a trite observation that kills Millie, and then he goes and he menaces a child, which it feels very Damon of bullying the youth.
Oh God, hot take. I hate getting rid of Kermit Telly. Why would they do this to me?
You leave Oscar alone.
I like Oscar. He's fine. He's good kid. Playing him. Why do they have to go and get rid of my boy Kermit?
It's I do love that in a show where they're like, fuck it, Rhaenyra, fucking we're gonna do the Eric and Ark, and then we're like, yeah, the Elmo, the twins, the fucking Muppet chick,
too
that's
far.
too much. That's
a bridge too far.
Hilarious.
Yeah. What?
I'm about to say they just brought it to Sessa. They kept it in there.
Yeah, it's fine.
I am disgusted. Give me my boy. Give me Kermit Telly.
Have you guys?
It is very funny that he tells him to smother his grandfather with a pillow.
Oh, objectively hilarious.
like casually tells him that.
Lord Strong is in the background,
Horrified, and goes over to him at the end. It's all right.
Console him. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to remember. At this point, the Tullys aren't the Lords of the Trident necessarily.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
They are.
They're the the Riverlands are under their rule.
Yeah, they owe obeisance to them. Yeah.
Huh.
Took over from House Mud thousands of years ago, according to that one Brienne chapter that I read 10 years ago.
I was just thinking maybe someone else is in charge if they got the bigger army, but yeah.
Well, no, that's actually some real lore. The whole Tully's not actually having as big an army as most of their vassals. House Derry at various points and House Blackwood and Bracken are just stronger than them.
Yeah, and then the way that Riverrun sits, it doesn't really lend itself to being able to hold a large portion of land where you would have a bunch of actual troops.
Break out into a little bit of sweat when they articulated Grover Tully on screen, or I'm sorry, Oscar Tully on screen. I was that was one of those moments where I had this like weird vertigo between like the thing that George wrote like 15 years ago as a joke and the seriousness with which we take this, and because of that it has become a real thing on a TV show, and now there's whatever.
This kid didn't seem like a grouch at all.
Oscar Tully and Kermit are very serious characters. They are not jokes.
Evidently.
How dare you?
Well, it's like I posted the thing from Olivia Cook earlier, the interview talking about how, like, well, you know, like, Alicent doesn't really get a backstory or much characterization in the story. Like, they kind of didn't have time for that. It wasn't important. So she's like, I just get to do it all. I was like, oh. So it's sort of, there's a lot of characters that are less fleshed out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously.
I did like the appearance of Lena in that council scene is kind of part of the dream. I did like the one thing I didn't like about the dreams is them really kind of like like that shift where, you know, basically like Alice drugs him and then all of a sudden he like comes to in the, you know, in the council. I don't like that device that much. With him really taking away that much time. But I did like Lena fucking walking around the table like that. That was fun. It was, you know, I was also kind of personally curious if with all these dreams if she was gonna appear. So it was good to see.
I was very happy to see that her as well. It was terrifying, spooky. Give me more Harrenhal seeds, right?
Yeah.
And my life is yours.
We finally got like an actual conversation, him and Alice, which I just thought was excellent. I will take all I can get of that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, no, that was very. I'm not sure what to call it, but I was interested.
It's also just such a different like tone and rhythm from anything we've seen from Damon before. Like, I feel like it could overstay its welcome, but for now, I'm still just like very intrigued to see him on the back foot. Also, I'm not totally sure that she poisoned him or that actually happened. Like, that could also have been a dream.
See, that feels like some hardcore actual shade of the evening type shit.
Sure, but he's like, I'm not going to eat your peas because you might poison me. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'll just drink this thing full of viscera. Yeah, strange lady in a room.
Yeah, I can understand that, but it almost looked like in that moment that she was almost forcing him like magic. There was a weird twitching like on his head or whatever.
He seemed compelled for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That explanation too. I just don't think it's as straightforward as like this conversation happened in a totally normal way, and you know, happened to follow his eye-patched self.
That was bizarre.
No, I agree completely.
Is that Damon with an eye patch?
Yeah, the thing is, they don't look that different. So.
Yeah,
that's I mean, if we're gonna talk about goofy names for characters, the Damon Aemond thing being like, oh yeah, I'm your foil, younger than you. I'm the rogue prince, so to speak, and I've got an eye patch, and that's my only difference. Characters, like facial features wise.
I do like Alice. She's not what I expected. I was kind of expecting some like a seductress, I guess, but she's just kind of like really down to earth and like not afraid. I mean, how much of this conversation is real, but like is unintimidated by him, like just kind of like a normal chick in an unnormal world.
Yeah, they were
Sorry.
She's so fucking cool. Yeah, no, I agree though. She is actually really cool.
Yeah, there were quite a few kind of like very straightforward conversations this week and I tend to like that style when that, especially kind of with 3 episodes of dancing around and all this stuff, to get some more like direct confrontations with how direct Alice is, how direct Alicent is to her son, and also kind of when Rhaenyra returns to her council, and we finally get some like forward action. Here's what we're gonna do, as well as kind of her and Jace going back and forth.
I agree completely.
I was very thankful.
We needed some actual hard kind of conversations where like people are speaking their full on mind to each other.
They did make a note in the behind the episode at the end of the show that they don't really know how old Alice Rivers is, and I'm curious if they're going to do a little bit of a Melisandre play with her, like that's the Melisandre of this show. But otherwise, she just seems like a really cool witch lady. Ruination.
Yeah, no, I'm all for the 100-year-old Alice Rivers.
Aemond will like that.
Oh, for sure.
Did you guys catch like she has little witch shoes? Like,
oh yeah, it's
when
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. Damon sees her walking past, and she's. I mean, they're not quite like curled at the tip like an elf, but they're close.
Yeah, it was very obvious it was her.
Yeah, someone drop a house on.
Yeah, I think that was the brief.
All right, so let's move on to. We have a brief scene here with Rhaenys having a little bit of a discussion with Alan, and Corlys shows up. Basically, they confirm that. I think it's implied that Alan is a bastard child of Corlys. Am I wrong?
Yes, this was also very direct. Love this. love Rhaenys.
Yeah.
She was excellent.
This also feels
I
like
love that bringing him into the fold can kind of be her legacy going forward, you know?
Yeah. It also felt very, like, I don't know. It felt very vindicating for last episode where we were actually kind of worried about, you know, is he pulling a pretty full-on sexism towards Rhaena? And it still could be the case, don't get me wrong. But, like, it feels more like there's more going on than just, like, ew, Rhaena's a girl. I don't want her to be my heir. She can't be my heir type.
Oh, yeah, it's just about the ship. They got to know the sea. They got to know the ships. Not like a woman would be allowed on the ships like that anyways, but I get it.
Yes, and we all remember how bold and brave at sea was Viserys Velaryon.
Truth.
I found this scene really sad. And they tricked me a couple times because I was like, oh no, they're never going to see each other again after, you know, Rhaenys kind of storms off. Mm-hmm. And then Corlys returns to Dragonstone, and I'm like, oh, they're going to make up before she dies. And then they don't.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty brutal. I'm not ready to see. I'm really not ready to see Steve Toussaint sad about losing his wife.
Oh, and I, you know, it's funny. It's one of those things I don't know if people who are kind of second screening the show or with, you know, less background, you know, than we are, like, and aren't reading articles about who each character is. Like, are they going to get that this is her, like, kind of internal confrontation, like confirmation of Corlys's infidelity? Like, is that, you know, is that going to come through? I don't know why I'm asking 100% of book readers on here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll need to. I think
it's obvious for anyone who cares. Like,
we must not worry ourselves with the opinions of show watchers.
Well, at some point he's going to be going to Rhaenyra about it, right?
Oh yeah, it's going to happen.
I am surprised that we didn't really get a scene of Rhaenys and Corlys, like her saying goodbye to him. Although I guess it would have been a little cheesy.
Right, yeah. I mean, they've had a couple scenes in the past couple episodes, especially that one with, like, them getting lunch or whatever, that have kind of, you know, served as that type of build.
I've enjoyed that they gave them more screen time to just be a couple together and, like, get more of that. I think it was needed. It was something that was kind of sorely lacking, and understandably so, in, you know, House of the Dragon Season 1. But, yeah.
All right, so from here we move on to Alicent, who is in her room playing around with a cool dragon toy that she just breaks, which is both symbolic and infuriating for people who like to collect things.
That's not just a dragon toy. I'm pretty sure that's the piece.
The one.
That Viserys broke in, like, episode 2 or whatever, and then she replaces it for him. Yeah.
Her whole
during their courtship.
A lot of this episode was her thinking about Viserys, and, like, I don't know if it was mourning him necessarily, but, like, kind of just trying to figure out how she felt about certain things.
Yeah, I mean, it's symbolic in a lot of ways. But she gets the moon tea from the Grand Maester, has a little discussion about Aegon and if he's the how Viserys might have felt about him being king. Maester doesn't know anything, and he leaves, and she takes the moon tea.
Average Maester doesn't know anything.
Yeah, for somebody.
Yeah, I mean,
apparently
the Grand Maester is no Valerian, so
he said that, like, oh, for your friend.
Yeah, he was kind of stumbling over it.
Although I wonder if it's not that out of the ordinary, given Aegon from last season needing it for the.
No, I suspect that's true, but I also kind of, it could have gone either way. But I kind of felt like he was enunciating carefully around, like, certain
the
words.
Subject. Yeah. It's like, this could be potentially dangerous for me if I say it the wrong way, was the vibe I was getting.
Yeah, I mean, like, the doors have... It seems like the doors have, like, little holes in them, and, like, anybody walking by could probably know, given last episode when Kristen Cole is looking at Rhaenyra from her room outside the door. But, yeah.
Well, to be fair, that's on Dragonstone.
I meant Alicent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was confused. I thought you meant Eric or something. And we're mixing up. I don't know.
There's too many people having sneaky things with Kristen Cole.
Too much Scooby-Doo nonsense. It's the problem with it, is that we get this.
Yeah.
How did you guys read this, though? Did you think that Alicent was pregnant, or was she or was it kind of preventative?
I think she was pregnant, maybe?
I was questioning that too, because...
Threw up on herself, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I was questioning that too, because, like, this is the first... I think this is the first time we've heard that moon tea being, making you stomach sick. And so I wondered if either... It could be one of two things. Or it could be both. It could be a stronger version of it that she needed because she was pregnant, or it could be a plot device because Larys. That scene that we get later. So I was kind of wondering about that too. I would not be surprised if she were pregnant, though.
Oh, Larys.
Because he said it was just moon tea, but then he said the stomach stuff, and then she had the stomach stuff.
She also hesitates before she takes it, which I don't... Yeah. I haven't watched the after the episode stuff. I wonder if they elaborate on it there.
They didn't so much there.
It just seemed like it tasted bad. Probably had
it was more just like mental prep. The awful thing she's about.
Yeah.
I'm sure it also
she
just...
literally was like gagging, drinking.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if it's like the normal moon tea and they just wanted to make something extra out of it for the plot, or if they really just... If this really is...
it could. I think it could.
Plan
B. Read it both ways for sure.
It definitely could go either way. I'm not. Yeah, I don't think it's like absurd to be clear.
Yeah.
But maybe it'd be interesting either way.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess because if she was pregnant and then he comes back and they resume this, then that kind of leads to other like possibilities as opposed to like, I don't know.
Well, there is also what's his name, Larys coming by and saying you've been different recently. I guess maybe that there could be an implication there of Larys being kind of a dick and knowing somehow.
Oh, he knew.
I think
he knows they're sleeping together, but more than that.
I mean, I think that's jealousy. Like you're. I thought that we had this. I thought we were the only extra marital thing that you were doing.
I don't know.
I got that.
He's an oddball.
I felt like he's punishing her. He knows, and he knows that she knows, and he's applying a little bit of pressure to let her know. Like it's like he's intentionally, I think, making her uncomfortable because he's annoyed.
Yeah, I could see that.
That was I read that very much as like a reasserting of his power in that relationship.
What a weirdo.
I was ready for him to ask for the feet, you know?
I think he was trying to, and then was like, you're not going to give this to me right now, so I need to express in other ways that I have you over a barrel. And
I was afraid of more feet stuff, too.
Yeah. I don't think they're actually going to go there this season with that. I think it'll be different.
I think it might just be implied heavily.
Yeah. All right, so next scene we get is another quicker one with Bela and Jace trying to run the small castle back at Dragonstone. And eventually we get Rhaenys is actually already there, also trying to counsel with them, and everybody's arguing, and then Corlys kind of comes up and is like, chill out.
Alfred Broom really laying the groundwork for Alfred Broom being not a good guy early, huh?
I forget who that is.
Shocking lack of knowledge.
Just like,
he's the guy who laughed at Rhaenyra, I think, last.
That makes sense. That's what I implied, but, it's like white guy number 1, white guy number 2 at the table.
Yeah, and they don't even have a lot of diversity in, age of most of the people on her council. They're all kind of graybeards. But this is the scene I said I kind of hated. Because I'm like, oh, she's been gone for how long,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, the
implication's a little weird on time there, yeah.
Time is flowing a little bit odd. It feels like, I think that we're in different points in time with different things. Like certain things are happening quicker than other things, and I think you have to think of scenes happening while previous scenes have already happened, like
non-sequentially.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. But then later on, when they said she's been gone for days, and it's like she didn't like tell a trusted, court member like, "Hey, I'm on something. I'll be back." Like she literally just vanished, and look at we see what it's causing.
Yeah, I mean, she could have told her little handmaid Linda Massey or whatever, and that at least to tell someone like I'm going to be out on Dragonback or something to make it so that people weren't panicking. Again, the Greens just tried to kill you. People need to know that you're alive.
Yeah, and this is why like her going on Dragonback last episode would have made a lot more sense. And I think Nettle said it in the forums. We were talking about it, that it kind of like she wanted like more of a confrontation between like Otto and Aegon. Like last episode, there was no passion. There was no room for them to yell at each other because they're like in the sept whispering and shit. And, like a dragon kind of solves that issue. They meet on the beach. She flies right back. Notices her, she's not gone long enough to be missed.
Do you get Alice to the beach?
Well, I mean, if you can sneak into King's Landing, surely you could sneak and, say, hey, she wants to meet you or something. And maybe she doesn't want to do that, but, whatever, then you don't meet.
I think this is the most, and I think once you involve a dragon, everyone's literally going to know. Like, literally, everyone knows.
I'm watching dragons really heavily right now, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
I think you can fairly like say that it wasn't a smart plan or whatever. And I agree that the timing in this episode doesn't help it, but I continue to think that like, I appreciate when things take advantage of like the lack of knowledge that kind of was historically present or not present. And the reality is people wouldn't have recognized, their monarch necessarily. She hasn't had coins minted,
Right.
Actually appreciate the reality of that kind of disguise. And for even if the scene is a B or a C or whatever, I don't think there's any better way to do it.
I mean, you could also not have it be that she was gone for days, even if she went by boat, that's pretty easy.
To quickly just bring it back to this episode, I think that it's more apparent that I think what the show is trying to portray here is the dichotomy of Rhaenyra. There's two things. One, Rhaenyra going away from the council, and everybody's like everybody at the council is like arguing about who should lead and like that they need to do things, and they can't like without the queen. They're trying to actually do a bunch of stuff, whereas Aegon literally left King's Landing, went on his dragon, and nobody made a fuss about it. And I think that's also, that they're showing that twofold with Rhaenyra not being able to go to fight on her dragon as well, and choosing, or Rhaenys basically nominating herself with that. So I think it's just another one of those, like, showing the differences between the sexes, even though they're technically, in the eyes of their companies, king and queen.
Right, and even though she doesn't let her sons go out. But, I do like that her willingness to get on Cyrac. She's like, well, it's got to be me,
Yeah,
it's a good theme to, like, highlight that is present in this episode, right? Because it comes back a couple of times with, the power that Damon is kind of contemplating that he does or doesn't have. And with Aegon, I think it's very clear when he's like, well, what did you want me to do, Mom? Nothing? I think that was another kind of facet of this. So the idea that just because you should be, or not should as in right, but should as in you're the monarch so you can do whatever you want, just because it says on paper that you can do that, it's very clear that it's actually a very limiting position. And I think Rhaenyra has maybe, not to be too cute, but maybe stretched her wings for the last time, at least for a while.
Yeah, I think the next time we'll be taking flight will be King's Landing, probably. And I'm not sure if she'll be in the first wave of that. Oh, who joined?
Bing joined.
Yay, welcome.
Bing, would you like to give us your lemon cakes for the show, for this episode?
Sure, yeah, I was mostly just hopping in and listening, but sure. 4.5, I think. That was very, very impressive battle at the end. I really liked a lot of the directions they made and how they chose to go about that battle. And I fought Rhaenys' actress. I forgot her name. Emma. Sorry, I forgot her name. Emma. No. Rhaenys.
Eve Beth.
Oh,
Eve
okay.
Beth. Yeah. No, she knocked it out of the park in this episode. But yeah, no, the battle is great. I know there's probably going to be people having trouble with the prophecy thing again. I mean, for consistency's sake, I guess it's fine for me. But yeah, no, the battle was great.
Awesome. All right, so let's move on to we're still a little bit in the beginning. We have Kristen Cole and Prue defeating I think it's the Darklands. And
Yeah, Darklands of Duskendale.
Yeah, and Lord Darkland is beheaded because he still sides with Rhaenyra.
Pouring out for my boy.
And then we also have that, he's receiving a letter and they're going the Rook's Rest instead of the planned Harrenhal turn west, if I remember correctly.
And Cole's conscripting the defeated, basically, right?
Yeah, it's at Stokeworth and Rosby. He did the same.
He's basically saying, yeah, you can live if you come fight with us.
Yeah.
The Kingmaker shot out for the first time.
Yeah.
I love this because I think when Cole is walking toward the execution, and you can just see how filthy his cloak has gotten, and like it's not the most graceful of metaphors, but damn if it didn't work on me.
Yeah, and then following that, the council scene and everything between Aegon and Aemond is really good. Like the bit with the Valerian, and that's where I was the Grand Maester doesn't know Valerian. And we can tell that Aegon's Valerian isn't as good.
Yeah, we follow that scene up with King's Landing and Aegon with his council, and that Valerian was just like, that was so good.
I think there's a serious possibility that the Grand Maester does know Valerian, and he's just like, this is not my...
He's smart enough to shut up.
I think.
Sure they are.
I don't know if it's a good idea for me to get involved in this, guys. Like, really.
Like when you're watching a work argument in Slack and you're just like, I don't exist.
Well, yeah, but it's a work argument in Slack, but like there feels like there's an undercurrent in the argument that you don't necessarily feel comfortable.
Like your coworkers are also related. Like they're either a couple or they're brothers or something.
Or yeah. Something like that.
One of the people in the fight is like side texting you the whole time.
Oh God, that's real bad.
And you have no authority to do anything.
When you're getting texts while the fight is happening, that means that they're like flipping between, and that's like a manic type of energy that you don't necessarily want to be a part of.
Also, Aegon not knowing his Valerian makes sense.
That made a lot of sense. Yeah,
yeah, perfect.
I really enjoyed that.
It's interesting because like they did not prepare him for rule. Like Otto had the plan. And even Alicent had there were several scenes where she's like, "You're gonna have to be king." And I mean, the scene, I think we have a scene in between, but like when he talks to Alicent, she's like, "Hey, the crown doesn't make you wise." Like she's like, "I just thought, you'd become king, you'd learn from people." I'm like, was he not supposed to be learning like beforehand? Like, did Otto not think that would have been a good idea all these years?
Why didn't he go on a visit to Old Town at some point? Like go out and see the kingdoms a little.
A self-fulfilling prophecy where they treated him like a buffoon and an idiot, and that's kind of what he became. And he even says to the council, like, you have to tell me these things, and nobody like believes in his judgment enough to inform him.
Right.
Because he is rash and not very bright. Whether that's his fault or not, he doesn't really have the composure. But it's not like anybody's helping, or even is giving him the benefit of the doubt. They're just like, shut up. Be a figurehead.
But I think this underscores the fact that Otto's plan was for Otto.
Yes.
I mean, he didn't want a capable Aegon. I mean, he didn't think it was needed. He's like, well, I'm just going to be in charge.
It's just like how he doesn't actually think. Well, I don't know if I can say he doesn't actually think this, but I don't think Otto Hightower puts as much of that weight that he seems to put into like the whole Viserys thing as he says he does. It's just that Viserys was convenient to him because Viserys was pliable and could listen to him and would listen to him, and he knew how to work him right for the greater good of his own house more than anything.
Oh yeah, I've actually been thinking about that a lot because Otto is so effusively, praising of Viserys in that conversation, and it's like you just used him, And I think there's a lot of self-editing going on in that particular memory.
Agreed.
Whereas I think Alicent is less. I don't think she's self-editing. I think she's kind of reconsidering. Like maybe it's a little bit like the devil, and now she's like, uh-oh, I chose a different devil, and
she's panicked.
Yeah. I think there was just a great beat where when Aegon leaves the council and they all like stand and whatever, and then they just keep going as if like he really didn't need to be there. He wasn't actually contributing anything. And I love that they like held on that for a little bit longer just to really nail that.
All right. I feel like we already kind of touched the Larys and Alicent scene. Only thing that we didn't really talk about is the mention of the history book. Do we think Larys is gonna like figure out the Song of Ice and Fire? Oh,
you mean Aegon when he took the books away?
No, like when Larys was in the room with Alicent, she had like 10 history books open on her like coffee table, and Larys was like, let's do some light reading here.
Oh, yeah.
What she's searching for, right? She's trying to find what Rhaenyra told her.
Right.
I didn't think about that because, I mean, in the proper timeline, in the Game of Thrones timeline, Rhaegar discovers. So I guess it's possible in this series someone could.
I don't. But isn't that because he spent time at Old Town?
I don't remember where it was that he came across it, or I don't know if I don't think that's really. We've gotten to that point in the book.
Because it was after he went to Old Town and he came back, he was like, I'm going to do this thing and be a warrior, if I remember correctly.
That might be right. I just know he was always in the library.
Could have been written since,
Right. Like, who's Jace going to tell? Or, I guess, Alicent. It'd be really funny if Otto comes back and is like, I've read this amazing book.
Or maybe like there's a tome on Dragonstone that Rhaenyra has made up or something, and that gets carried back, and no one knows this is what it is.
That'd be good.
Like gets put into the library at King's Landing or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Last scene of the show is Alicent having found out about this and her passing it on to Aegon the Unlucky.
Oh, that would be so. I don't know. That'd be so weird. They got options.
And it would just seem like a crazy lady telling him a weird story, and after he's been like triply traumatized.
And hey, the dragons are so important. Your mommy went to feed them in the war effort. Like, oh boy.
All right. I feel like we also talked about Damon having more nightmares, seeing himself, and then being in Alice's, I guess that's her room or workroom. I did think that it was interesting that she noted that his bed is made from a heart tree, makes it a little bit more spooky.
That's some Robin Aaron shit right there. That's Robin Aaron on his werewood throne, hearing like the whispers of the dead people that are part of it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I can just imagine like Bran just like looking out from like one of the knobs of the bed.
Oh no, you don't want to be in a bed. Oh no.
he sees everything.
I wouldn't want to see the Aemond scenes that will come eventually of him in that bed. I'm good.
I am waiting in one of these shows. There's gonna be a moment where we see some Bran eyes coming out of a tree.
I sure hope not. No more connections to God. It's bad. It makes the story smaller. I hate it. This is not fucking Marvel. Stop. No more.
The people like it. Enough people like it that they've kept it a part of the.
So to speak, just to take a step back, because I did think that the Damon looking like or thinking of himself or something, the fake out with being Aemond was a little silly, but at the same time, I do wonder if it's like if the idea is that Damon is considering this for the first time, really, if like the idea that Rhaenyra kind of introduced him to, that Aemond is dangerous and worthy of his attention, the way that that Aemond perceives Damon to be, that this is kind of taking root in his psyche.
I think it's a combo of that and the foreshadowing of his death again.
Oh yeah, well that part, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He did after the episode, both Matt Smith and one of the other people who made the show, I forget their names, but they were saying that it's a lot of these scenes are Damon addressing his sins of the past. And so I wonder, part of it is like the generational, like passing this on to his niece and nephews and/or great niece and nephews, depending on which way you look at it. And I think that could be an aspect of it as well. I also felt a little bit like, though, it was kind of reminiscent of Cersei with getting her prophecy, as far as there'll be a younger, more beautiful one that'll come, queen that'll come after you. And so it kind of feels like a little bit like this is your successor.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so let's move on to next. So then we get the scene with Aegon in the small council. He says they're boring him and he goes to his room. Alicent is looking for more books, and Alicent and Aegon have a bit of a discussion. And she wants him to lean back and do absolutely nothing. I thought this was my favorite. Other than like the action that we get at the end, like Alicent got some backbone. It feels like she's coming off of that argument with Larys, and she's just like, you know what? I'm tired. We're keeping it real today.
Yeah, that might be... I've been really kind of not a fan of Alicent this whole season, but that might have been my favorite season with her so far.
I said this about them last season, where Alicent, because she had him very young, and at times it feels like they're siblings instead of mother and child. Like, she talks to him the contempt and the disappointment, the spite that you would reserve for a shitty younger sibling who is frustrating and disappointing you. She doesn't really talk to him like her child. Or at least she doesn't feel like it. There's a directness to like the way that she addresses him. That's like, it just reads to me as like very sibling.
Well, she didn't have a mother, right? So that might have something to do with it. Like, she didn't really have a great example.
She lost her mother when it was like half a year before the start of Hot D in the show canon, at least.
I thought she was younger than that, but
no, they talk about it when Viserys is kind of going through his grief, and I'm pretty sure it's like half a year or a year before or something like that.
Still like early teen.
Yeah, I think Damon needles Otto about it at a council scene. It's like, didn't your wife just die or something like that? But no, I agree with you, Katie. I think that's that kind of Parisian, and again, that kind of like does Aegon actually have any power in this situation was very present in that scene, and the non-closeness but perverse closeness between them really highlighted that.
Yeah, I think the fact that she was a young mother definitely plays into that, and I think that I think that that's kind of I've seen things that people say that like when they have kids younger, they kind of end up becoming their best friends. That's not always the case, but I've kind of seen that like less of an age gap can definitely play with that dynamic. And clearly here, I feel like the whole show, like, you just don't feel like Alicent really a mother or knows what she's doing, probably because she's in a traumatic relationship that's not really of her wanting. But yeah. All right. So we have a couple of quick scenes here. Rhaenyra. So let's just go to Rhaenyra gets back. I like the argument with Jace. I was like, ooh, he's feisty today. And this is the scene where we get the decision that Rhaenys and Meleys is going to go to Rook's Rest to fight off the army that Cole has.
I feel bad because Jace was annoying the crap out of me.
No, he was super annoying. It's like, dude, your mom just got back and what are you doing?
I was kind of
quiet.
I don't know. I liked it.
I mean, I don't know. He was pissed off.
Yeah, I'm not saying he was wrong. I was just like, shh.
Not the right place. Like, he's right. He's right with what he's saying, but he shouldn't be showing her up in front of her council.
Yeah, I think the problem they walked in. She walks into a leaderless council, and they're all just kind of arguing. That energy is still going because no one was left in charge. She didn't. Like I said, she doesn't have a hand. So I think Jace's energy would have been better spent just riding on his dragon and saying "fuck it." who's going to stop him?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic, and I think it's, I felt like with the next scene where Rhaenyra tells Jace about the Song of Ice and Fire, like the way that she like kind of coddles him, and she's just like, oh, you're my little boy, and you might be king someday. I must tell you of your responsibility to the Song of Ice and Fire. But, it's also another instance of patriarchal norms. He's the man that's next in line to the throne, and so he feels entitled to be like, what the fuck, Mom?
See the Blacks not having perfect family dynamics, for one.
Yeah. It's kind of nice.
Who is the guy who is a Darkland?
I think
Stefan
so,
Darkland.
yes. Yeah.
He's her Lord Commander.
Got it.
He was one of the ones. So it's him and Marbrand are the ones that were left on Dragonstone with that part of the royal family when Viserys dies, and so they're the ones that stay with her.
And so that's when he finds out that his is it grandfather?
He's the one who gets torn apart by Sheep Stealer.
I think it's Silverwing.
Greygoat.
Seasmoke?
One of those dragons.
It's one of the ones that actually takes a rider afterwards. I'm pretty sure because Greygoat is Alan, but I don't know if that's going to happen here.
Greygoat never gets a rider. He gets eaten later. Seasmoke gets a rider.
Yes.
All right, and then we go back to King's Landing. We see drunk Aegon drop over a perfectly good flagon or flask. Flagon. I think they call them flagons. And he decides that it's go time. I'm going to take my dragon and show them what's up. Gets on Sunfire and they go. While Rhaenyra is telling Jace about Sunfire.
Moment with the glass really stood out to me just because I feel like that's kind of the way people have been viewing the season so far, of inching toward the edge, and then we see it shatter, both in the glass shatter and then the, I guess, remnants of peace shatter, and we just see how devastating that is, and Aegon stomping across the ruins of this glass, where it's kind of the themes that we're dealing with.
That sequence of, as much as I hate the dagger stuff, I can just listen to it again on mute because it was great. It was just the setup for the battle, amazing.
Yeah, I really like that.
Also, I like how much the dragons are like a deterrent to the battle itself. Gwaine and Cole going back and forth about, this is a small scene that happens a little bit before this, but Gwaine and Cole talking about attacking Rook's Rest, and he's like, you want to do this during the day? You're crazy. Okay, we've been harassed by what seems to be dragon riders this whole time. We're not doing it. And Cole's like, we've got a plan, but not actually. But I'm not going to tell you it.
I like what little we see of Sunfire. Just nuzzling this moment between him and Aegon and Rhaenys and Meleys.
Yeah, man. Sunfire is a good boy.
Yeah, he's just a little guy. He's young, around the same age as Cyrax, right? One of the younger clutches.
They're about the
Meleys
same size too. I mean, they're sizable. They're good for battle, but yeah, they're not what are they 30 years old or something like that? Or...
And whereas Meleys is a bit more aged.
I think the most successful thing this episode has done is actually give character to the dragons. They actually,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Vhagar already had some, but Sunfire and Meleys got a lot, and it helped a lot, actually.
I never really cared for dragons, other than, look, it's a cool-looking drag thing, CGI thing in Game of Thrones. And none of those 3 dragons, other than a little bit of the big one, I forgot, that's any sort of character. These dragons actually feel like living things for the first time on the show. I mean, Vhagar has some characters. This really made me feel sad for a dragon dying.
I don't know. It was one scene, right? I mean, I guess technically we saw Aegon. He was a little bit, right, in season 1.
Say that again. You cut out.
Oh, in season 1 we saw Ty Tennant's Aegon, with Sunfire. Isn't that the scene where the pink dread thing happens?
Briefly, yeah. I mean, this is
right.
the most
Super brief. So
yes.
basically, what I'm saying is we're relying on this 2-second shot of Aegon and Sunfire in this. Yeah.
Yeah. He comes to the dragon pit, and the dragon's so happy to see him, and he's happy to see the dragon, and they're cuddling, and he kind of doesn't want the war, and he's not bloodthirsty, and like Aegon might be the true king. I don't know, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh, I don't know what about this said Aegon isn't bloodthirsty.
No, well, compared to Aemond.
Adam, I'm going to need you to face the wall now. I'm sorry.
No, but I said this before we started recording. Like, I mean, this is very like Sunfire is kind of one of my favorite dragons from the dance. Just beautiful gold and all this like really good artwork and stuff. And you know, it doesn't really get to do much and gets taken out so quickly. And so it was nice that you saw the bond. You know, the battle was was very fitting. The two of them, and yeah, I don't know. I liked it.
I liked it too. Although I do like when those scenes were happening, I was like simultaneously just like they're all going to be gone soon, but then also like they're kind of dogifying the dragons a little bit, which I think makes sense, but also no, they cuddle, they know their rider. It's cute.
It looked great.
What, Michal? Sorry, I didn't hear you. I didn't catch that.
Sorry. Is my connection not okay?
I think that you're coming in and out a little bit.
Oh, okay. I said it's going to be rough, but it's going to look great.
All right, so it's battle time. So basically, Cole comes up to Rook's Rest. The people of Rook's Rest got their bows and arrows, and I forget what the things that shoot the arrows are called, but they're cool. Really like those things. And
crossbows?
Yes. We get the battle, we get Melees who joins and kind of looks all like it's doom and gloom for the Cole side, but then we get who we think is going to be Vhagar, but then Aegon, or I guess they think it's going to be Vhagar, or Christian Cole is at least. But then Sunfire and Aegon show up, and Cole takes it in stride, but is really upset about this, and so is Aemond's a little bit pissed off too. We get the battle. It looks like Aemond is actually the one to take out Aegon, which is fascinating, but history will say that Rhaenys and Melees did that, as it appears in the preview as well. And then Vhagar takes out Rhaenys, and she perishes. And it appears that the Greens have taken Rook's Rest in total, but it's kind of also pretty destroyed, and yeah.
Vhagar coming over the tree line was pretty great. Everyone was stopped
awesome.
and stares.
It's just monstrous. The design for Vhagar is so good in how like it just dwarfs everything all the time, and it feels so heavy. And to make something like in CGI look like that, I don't know. It just works very well.
How did Aemond sneak that dragon to that spot?
I assume it actually walked.
Oh my god, it walked!
People not notice that Lion Dragon walked?
He was just at King's Landing.
Either he had to fly the day of the battle. He knew that the battle was going to happen a certain day, and then flew there to wait, which was close by, but not close enough to be spotted.
I'm just imagining like one of the what are those? The Komodo dragons, but like super size, and they're just like through the forest, weaving in and out, crashing some trees down.
I mean, and it's fairly close.
Behind them.
Yes. That is the best version of
giant.
It's fairly close to King's Landing. Like, did anyone else imagine when he was like shooting the fire and then they're doing the horns? And I was like, shit, is this going all the way back to King's Landing? Like Gondor's calling for aid? Like for a second there, I was like, how far are we going? And then he was just in the trees, but you know.
Well, it was interesting because you do see them like chopping down the wood, right? But not explaining why. And then,
to make a landing pad?
Not a landing pad, a cover. They cover Vhagar with trees.
Oh yeah, I guess that was like camouflage in case the other dragons flew over, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess that could be what it is, huh?
I didn't think about that.
I thought that was just
you would
for
need
the
that
war.
except for the dragon riders. That makes sense.
Yeah, I just thought that they were just cutting down trees to make like arrows and fucking what do you call it when you knock down
engines and stuff? Yeah, that's what I thought.
that sort of stuff.
Interesting.
Though, because they staged the battle. I mean, and maybe this is in the book. I don't know, but like I'm very used to seeing battles at night, especially cool drag things, because you want to hide any sins that the CGI can't quite cover. But this is just like broad daylight. Like the arrows that they were shooting with the fire on them, I'm like, I'm not even sure those are going to be effective. Like, how can you see that against the daylight? You know, it was so cool to, I don't know, it was so gutsy.
Definitely felt like a Kristen Cole plan.
Yeah, and I will say, as much as I hate Cole, like his speech, I felt was somewhat moving because he had the plan to surprise them with Vhagar, and when he's like, "Shit, that's the king," and like everyone's fleeing, so he's like, "All right, hey guys, your king is here, let's go." Like, I think he would have just waited for Vhagar otherwise. So I mean, I kind of thought that was like, I thought that was a good moment for him, and he gets knocked out. So
it was a terrific propaganda pivot.
Yeah. No. But then Gawain's gonna get all the glory, right?
Rare good. What do you call it? Understanding of propaganda from Kristen Cole.
Yeah. Well, he does.
I guess
it's
battlefield propaganda. Yeah, good battlefield propaganda seems to be something he can do. But
yeah, they're all shitting their pants over the dragon, which I think was part of their plan to lure them in to get. They don't know who's coming, but to get one of the dragons, right? And then and Aemond comes and chomps, and so he would have been happy to have the men, flee into the forest and probably like let that collapse and showed up. But when the king is there, he's like, "Shit, I can't do that." So,
well, yeah, he also knows that this is not things are not as they're supposed to be in this case. It's like, we're gonna have to improvise here,
right? But Aemond fixed the plan. He's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna go early." I see him. He's just basically he curses his brothers like, idiot.
He rapidly formulates his own version of the plan, which involves, becoming king.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because after the episode, Aemond, the actor is talking about, well, like in that moment, like it's sort of like, is he collateral damage, or like was he thinking like this is a way to get revenge on his brother? Like he's kind of conflicted. And then the actor for Aegon is like, oh, as he falls, it's full betrayal.
Right, I'm not crazy, right? Aemond in the very last scene has his sword out and is about to like finish off Aegon.
He has his sword out, and I think it's hard to tell because we still haven't seen where Aegon was. But I think the implication was when Kristen shows up is like, hey, what you doing? Because who else is going to be there? Like, there's not going to be any enemies out there, right? So,
Matt, did you want to say something?
No. I mean, I think it looked to me that he was. Yeah, sorry, I had to step out for a bit. But it looked like to me he was putting away his sword as Kristen came up. So that, it was. I mean, maybe he would have considered and wasn't in the condition he's in.
I think he was thinking about it.
Right.
Well, because why does he have his sword out at all? I mean, you're on guard for enemies, but there's no one out there.
Yeah, and he wasn't exactly. He was facing the wrong direction if he was going to be facing enemies, because he was facing Aegon and Sunfire, not.
Yeah, he was looking at the wreck.
Yeah, I just feel like the scene with the Valyrian for me felt very much like him like kind of. I mean, it was a little bit of like a dick measuring contest in like a different way than we had in the last episode, but it was like Aemond so clearly like he swept the he won, easily. I mean, when you hear like Aegon's like broken Valyrian, it's just, that to me, it almost felt like a foregone conclusion that he was like, I'm effectively the king, and this is an opportunity to make that official.
Yeah, it does feel like set up for his eventual title, Lord Protector of the Realm, or whatever Aegon makes him.
And it's also curious because then does Cole, they've been so close, does Cole cotton on to that? Does he get second thoughts about Aemond, or does he not, even notice it, or does he not care because he doesn't like Aegon either? I
think he does care. I get the feeling that Cole cares a bit deeply, and I think that this is going to cause a rift, although how long it will last, I don't know, because I have doubts that Kristen Cole lasts very long at the end of the day.
I think there will at least be a discussion.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah, there are a couple things here, right, that with my interpretation where obviously one, Cole, as Lord Commander, like, Cole knows that if he doesn't protect the king, he's fucked. And there also seemed when Aemond finally flies into the battle after Aegon and Sunfire get hurt, there seemed to be a look of understanding on Cole's face as to why Aemond held back. So
backtracking just a little bit, I do want to know how do you get Vhagar to like sit there while they put all those like vines and stuff on him?
because she's tired and just likes to lie around.
Yeah. Vhagar just like, no one claimed her and she was just sitting there. She'd sit there for days on the beach, I bet.
So I do wonder if, like, I don't know, the way Aemond talks about, like, losing his temper and that kind of leading to him losing control of Vhagar, I kind of wonder if he has been working on that, you know, to kind of, if for no other purpose than to exert control over his biggest nuclear weapon in the entire world that flies.
I mean, I think he was working on it, and then Aegon kind of fucked it up.
But, like, Vhagar listens to him, you know? She does that hilarious thing where he's like, no, not yet. And, like, she, like, blows out and, like, knocks over a few trees.
Yeah. She just knows what the soul wants.
You can't eat the marshmallow yet.
But actually. Alright, so I guess the next episode we're left on the cliffhanger of, is Aegon dead? Or is he just injured?
I'm just badly burnt. Please. Help me up.
You'll get better.
Hello.
I could do with a good sip of the milk of a puppy.
Oh, boy. The quick descent into addiction.
It does definitely look like a lot of the armor melted onto his face by the glance that we got.
R.I.P.
He's so gnarly.
And next episode, we get Melee's head paraded through King's Landing.
Oh, terrible.
It's great because every episode, I feel like I'm excited to see how the characters react to the events of the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't know. I find that very compelling.
Yeah. And but I also think in combination with that, they didn't cut this episode like too early, like some of the other ones where there was definitely like enough here with like seeing the battle all the way through. Because like the one that really hit me is like when Chris and Cole got knocked out, where I was like, oh no, gonna cut some stuff here. It's like, no, then we just like shift to other parts of the battle. Where I was like, oh, thank God. And so
I think that it's weird because this episode was shorter, but it felt better paced overall. Like,
yeah, the battle was almost 30 minutes, right? Or it was like 20, it was 20-something minutes.
20, yeah. But it felt very well paced. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think this is kind of illustrative, or at least for me, of what, you know, I felt was slightly off with the other episodes, which is not that I didn't like all the conversations we were getting, because I did, but the ones in this episode were all just paced better. They kind of got to their point still very gracefully for the most part, but they got there faster, you know, as opposed to kind of taking a much longer time. Like, I feel like the scene with Larys and Alicent would have been like twice the length in, you know, episode 1, 2, or 3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this episode definitely flowed a lot better. Adam, I think you posted that this director was, I forget what episodes that they did previously.
I mean, he was heavily involved in season.
Yeah.
You know which episode he directed? People make mistakes. It's fine. But he directed the episode where Jaime rapes Cersei and is,
really?
I believe, immortalized as one of the people who was like, we didn't realize that was a rape scene in the room.
Is it because he did? Let's see. It says he did Baelor and Fire and Blood in season 1, The North Remembers in season 2, The Nightlands, The Prince of Winterfell, Valar Morghulis, which is that the one? Is that episode?
I think.
And then
so.
He also directed
season 2
an episode Beyond the Wall, which is like the freaking, you know, Yoda arriving, Attack of the Clones bullshit, but also like the action, the choreography, and like the way the dragons are shot and all of that is great. So, you know, that's why you pick this guy, right?
The dragon fighting was just so cool. Like them like doing like pirouettes, like a funnel in the sky as they're fighting and clawing at each other.
Just nailed.
One of the descriptions.
Oh, sorry, Michal, what did you say?
Oh. No, just one of the descriptions that sticks with me from Fire and Blood is like, I guess it's Vhagar like raking Sunfire's belly with her back claws, and like just seeing that, you know, the viscera falling like from the sky and like collapsing on like
a boiling blood,
probably killing people.
Yeah, their blood kills people.
Yes, that is so cool.
Also, was it green?
The fire?
No, the blood.
Hard to tell. It looked more.
It looked darker. But like, I gotta say, the scene where they're falling and the dragons are going at it, it's like a dance. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And man, this episode was just a feast for the eyes. It really was.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've had some really great artwork of these clashes, like with the dragons midair and stuff over the years. And I feel like there'll be still shots from this that kind of maybe don't necessarily match the artwork, but like they pair with it well. Like it is a good companion.
You know, it was also like a really clever, I don't know, decision at some point down the line. The way they design melees and most of the dragons, with the rider kind of being on their, I guess, you know, and not on the neck. The way Rhaenys can see melees dying in Vhagar's jaws, like, has just a full-on view.
Oh.
You know, I never imagined it that way, but it's so great.
It was so brutal and
it was heartbreaking.
Melee's eyes at that moment were like, it's the end of the line, old girl, we're done.
Yeah, they connected. I think it was sort of like a I'm sorry, like I'm out sort of thing, and then the acceptance in Rhaenys' eyes. Yeah, I mean, whew. Yeah. And today's her birthday of all days.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Well, apparently someone posted on Twitter that it's like she was born on the 7th day of the 7th month or whatever. So.
Oh, I thought you meant the actress.
No, the character. Okay. No.
I need a citation.
I did. Check it.
Yes, yeah. She was born on July 7th.
I called the county clerk.
I told Greg that, and he was like, they use the Julian calendar.
No, obviously not.
Yeah, it was made for the great leader of the Freehold Valyria. Made a calendar. Like,
oh man, in the days of old Valyria, they had dragon calendars, and it was.
Yeah, his name was Julia Rax.
Yeah, that's right. Who's the writer of Novemberus?
That moment where Melees is looking back at Rhaenys, like, I'll go back if you wanna, like, before, like, when she turns around to, like, make her second loop.
When she says attack again.
Yeah. I was just like, no.
There was, I think there was the acceptance of, like, we're probably not coming back from this one, are we? Yeah. We're cooked, bruh. We're cooked. And, yeah. Man, this episode had some really, really, really high points for me. It's almost as good as episode 2 for me. Really good, man.
You rate this below episode 2?
Yeah, episode 2 is peak. Episode 2 is keynote. Okay.
Okay. What were you saying, Michal?
Oh, just in like the little decisions, you know, like I like in the book they like find Rhaenys' charred corpse, right? Like the implication is she died midair in the battle, but to have her die because her dragon dies beneath her, and then there's nothing to do, you know? Like, you're in a thing that has borne you aloft, that has given you all this power, that has made your family name, and then it's literally just dragging you down to your death is, I don't know, very, very poetic.
It's really irresponsible of them not to include parachutes.
I was just thinking that, and then I was like, no, that's too stupid of a visual. Don't inflict that on anyone else.
Why, yes, my Valyrian steel parachute that I deploy if my dragon gets destroyed.
All the silks.
Oh my god, I'm suddenly like flashing back to one of the origins of VOK, which was our coverage of The Legend of Korra. And in season 4, I don't even remember why, but there were people like in, I guess, spy planes, and the good guys were like taking them out. And it was like, oh, this is really intense. And then you would just see these tiny little parachutes like whoop, out of the.
Yeah, they got the parachutes up fast.
So it was like, don't worry, it's fine. They're fine. They're safe.
Yeah, that's a classic kids cartoon. You know, it wouldn't matter what it was. If they threw someone off the edge of a cliff, you know, just they were standing up, suddenly they'd have a parachute. You were like, where the fuck did the guy do that?
Spider-Man PS4 did something like this where every time he would kick them like off the roof, they would be webbed to the building like instantly by like seemingly just like a device that was thrown on them. It was really funny. So like if you kicked someone off of like a skyscraper or something,
Like, oh, no, Spider-Man
instantly
been like, no, I'm
Spider-Man
trying to murder all of these people.
Yeah, I remember that, like, hilarious when I first got that.
All right, guys, any final thoughts before I sign out?
Need more of this. Good episode.
Yes.
I feel like this is the unknown now, where like we knew it was building to here in the middle, but like where it's actually going to end is kind of a big mystery to me, you know, especially because like I haven't revisited Fire and Blood in fucking ages. So I'm just kind of like, so what happens now?
Yeah, I'm curious to see where the lemon cakes will trend this week. There's only been 15 votes so far, but looking like a lot of 5. So
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm excited to see how the characters deal. You know, like at the end of the day, that's kind of my main interest. I'm also curious how long they keep Damon at Harrenhal in this kind of extended drug trip. You know, and I just love the idea of Sir Simon Strong being like, I've been around so long, I'm immune. Like, oh, you still feel the effects? Oh, that's cute.
I see you're in the second week hallucination phase of your stay here in Harrenhal. I experienced that as a 4-year-old, so you'll be over it quick. Like, the level of, like, the weirdness here is the weirdness here. You're gonna get used to it.
You
at some
haven't eaten
point.
any of the shrooms yet, have you? Gotta pay.
It also, I mean, it does kind of also, you know, recast Damon's decision to come back. You know, like if this is how he's experiencing it, as a complete loss of control, his faculties, all that. Sorry, this is a different conversation, really. But
no, I agree completely. It's needed. Like, it does recast it. It also, with the amount of foreshadowing they're doing towards him dying, I think it feels very good. I like this direction for his character and for Harrenhal as this character in and of itself in the story.
Mm-hmm.
This is, good stuff. Seriously.
Yeah, to me, I feel like they were kind of like, what can we do with Matt Smith? Because he's so brilliant. Let's do this. And it's brilliant. Because he's Matt. And also Millie.
Oh my god, Millie's been awesome. Also, again, the return of the Valyrian usage in the show has been great. Every scene with it has been amazing. Like, every time it's being used on screen, it's like, whoa.
I'm really hoping that they didn't, have... I forget the guy that did the linguistics for the Valyrian language.
David Peterson.
Yeah, I don't know if they only, had him on for one episode, and I really hope it's just not this one episode, but I was missing it a lot the past couple of episodes.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Aemond, when he was, speaking it was gorgeous. It was so good. Feast for the ears, if you will.
When's Matt Smith gonna actually be king, though? Because he's always...
They be hitting him with your grace real liberally. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, he's just winning hearts and minds.
It is nice to have Benjamin Blackwood. They didn't cut every single one of the lads.
Yes.
Oh, and having the Blackwood be the guy the little shrimpy kid who killed the Bracken at Storm's End. That was a great callback. Talk about a glow up.
Yeah, murdering Brackens is a rite of passage for Blackwood lads.
Really puts some hair on your chest.
It really does. That's how you know you're a real man.
Nice. All right, guys. So let's call it here. Thank you all for joining me. You can find us all on Discord. Oh my god, I don't think I introduced anybody in the beginning of the episode. I just went straight to lemon cakes. I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they're watching, they know.
We are known.
We can record something if you want.
Maybe. All right, well, this has been DragonCast. Thanks for watching, or listening. Not watching. Unless you're on YouTube, then you're kind of watching. You might have us in the background, but maybe you're just staring at that weird picture for the whole time. I don't know. I don't judge. But you can find us on... You can find
Sometimes
us on...
the pictures change.
You can find us on the Discord if you want to chat. We chat about everything here, and including lots of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon related things. And until the next episode. Bye guys, thanks.
Bye. Thanks, Disney. Viewer, we are judging you harshly, just like your parents do.
So, do you want us to do intros, or I think
we can do it.
Put them in the show notes or whatever, and
Who says yes and who says no? So far, I got an even split.
I'm about to say I will sign off the call before my intro.
I'm gonna lead this bitch.
All right, I'm gonna say it's fine without it. I think that it'll just make it longer, and it'll be annoying to edit.
Here.
Yeah, that was a fun episode, and I feel like I'm just like, yeah, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, yeah, let's go. Next episode, please.
It's nice to be positive about the dragons people for once.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always positive about dragons killing people.
Feel like I'm team dragons, not so much team people. What's our next dragon encounter after this?
The gullet, probably.
They got to do something else.
Yeah, no, there is a second battle this season. I know that. There was some podcast I was listening nailed when it was gonna, but like I'm blank.
Because the Dragon Siege should start developing, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
It's gotta be the gullet. Jace has gotta bite.
No,
Yeah, they did.
Greg says Tumbleton is Tumbleton.
Well, technically, there's the honey wine also to do. I could see honey wine being Otto showing up with Daron.
That's what
That's the gullet.
No, isn't there like a clash between like the Lannister ships and others? Like, because they mentioned like
they're not gonna cast the Greyjoys. They're not doing it.
You don't know.
I don't know, but
they did mention the Kraken.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that happens later. First off, and second off, the only other battle I could see is honey wine or gullet being that.
Yeah, but like I mean, because that's what I'm saying. Like at this point, like the timeline of stuff gonna start fudging.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
but as long as I get more bees, very happy.
Wasn't Jay supposed to go up to like kind of like introduce everybody going up to the Eyrie?
He already technically did that.
But I mean, like when she sent the younger ones up there, I thought like he was gonna go to kind of like
Rhaenyra goes.
He was gonna pop up there real quick.
I do think I think cast Jane, so we might get a scene.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be criminal if he doesn't at some point like go back to Winterfell and have a bit of a conversation. But
so
whatever.
they've said that like we're not seeing it at all.
Like Cregan might just come down with the Greybeards, and like that's a kind of.
I do like that.
That's not my favorite.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but they said that after the first episode that like that's it essentially for.
I understand practically why you don't want to do Winterfell and those sets might be gone, but like I don't know. I do feel like there's more meat to the story there that we've been expecting. So I'm
still not a fan of them showing Winterfell at all. So give me what do you call it?
I just want to know where the dragon eggs are in the crypt. That's all. I just want to know what crypt they put them in.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, I really want.
Sarah Snow's crypt is where they.
Yeah, I wanted Sarah, and I wanted dance and all that shit. Oh well.
Boo.
Maybe Duncan Egg will return to win.
You think Duncan Egg
have to make it up?
They'd have to make it.
Nah, George could definitely get a Duncan
George
Egg
is not getting in front of them. George is not going
to. He could get a Duncan Egg novella about Winterfell out. He has the basic plot laid out.
He's probably written 80% of it, but you won't see it for 20.
True. That's a truth nuke right there.
I saw a fake cover for The Winder the other day, and I was sad when I found out it was. And I don't like that I was
tricked.
Yeah. I know I should expect it, but then when I see a new cover, I'm like, oh my god, really? Really?
I feel like it's quieted down, so like you shouldn't expect it as much. Like the last couple years of the Game of Thrones show, it was like Winds of Winter shit. Like all the time, there was like articles and pictures and like, ooh, Winds of Winter release date means that this new show on ABC is canceled. What the fuck?
Oh, see, right now
to get the algorithm going.
In the last 6 months, we've gotten a heightened positivity towards it being released. But yes, overall.
Has there been?
Yeah, there's been some pretty heavy speculation that he's going to drop it. But I mean, we always are feeling that because we always are ready to just be proven right. Please.
Yeah.
Please.
We felt like, bro, you should have had this out 10 years ago. But,
Ever since I learned that with the whole, what's Prince William's wife's name?
Kate,
yeah. With all that fiasco, there was somebody on TikTok was explaining how journalists will republish articles that they wrote 5 years ago because it's relevant to the things to stir up the pot.
Yeah, they'll add a sentence or something and then bump it back up like it's a new article.
Right. So now I'm like, is there Winds of Winter's news? Or is it just people being like, oh, House of the Dragon's on, let's go fuck with the fans? You know?
Yeah, that is definitely a thing that's happening. But people are just hope posting because he's vague. He's been vague posting on the Nada blog for a while now. Some very interesting stuff.
And I think he likes fuck.
Oh, he definitely does. Fuck.
To me,
How
that
dare you.
George's fuckery is kind of what has rekindled the long dead hope for me.
Yeah.
And I like hate myself and I'm kicking myself. I'm like, this is so stupid. The book's not coming out. Like, can we please like
Move on.
not?
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I'm like, you know what? I haven't had hope for this book in like probably 8 years. So like, okay, whatever. Enjoy some hope. You know?
I can spend a couple months like living off of this. Definitely.
Yeah. If I'm disappointed again, it's not like I haven't been disappointed in the past 13 years. You know?
Yeah.
No, hard
I do.
to hurt me, Paul. Don't let it happen.
Nah, you got to become hope pilled.
No, I will have hope when I'm just sort of like completely apathetic, because he may never
I'm not
release
telling anyone else to be hopeful.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is the place that I find myself.
You're like letting the flag fly.
Yeah, I mean, from everything I've seen, I'm going to stick with being hope pilled for a bit until the end of the year. If we don't get a release date by the end of the year, then I'll go back to being like, it's so over. Nothing will ever be released. No Duncan. Nothing.
Yeah,
I just do find it funny.
Sorry.
No, it's just I find it funny that we're in the Duncan egg thing. I mean, the stakes aren't as high as Game of Thrones, but like it's the same thing.
Give us Summer Hall, you coward.
I'm really enjoying that the casting for that. Although I don't know how I feel about Maelor, but that guy knew not Maelor, Maekar. But that guy can act. That being said,
Yeah, no, I mean the first season at least will be fun. Like that.
they're saying it's going to be 6 episodes, which also awesome. Like short minute.
That's the perfect amount for that. Just doing like the
novella, yeah.
Yeah, the trial and all that. That all seemed like after that, like who knows? You know, it's a lot of unknown after that as to how you like it all. The first, the first little miniseries at least will be.
Oh yeah, I am telling you though, like we could probably get he can come out with a Duncan Egg book pretty easily. He can spit that out like nothing. The basic plot for the She-Wolves one is laid out completely, basically.
I actually do.
We want the situation where he tells creators what's supposed to happen in his books.
No, I hate that. That's what I don't want to happen. What I do need to happen is him to release another one. Damn it, George.
It was so cool when George told us about how Dunk does this thing, man. It's just so cool. Like,
it was so cool when he sat down with us privately and said we can't record him while we talks about this, and then explained plot point by plot point the entire plot of this other Duncan Egg story.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
and then when we just decided to ignore most of it and do whatever the fuck on it, that was cool.
And then we were like, yo, George, what if we just fucking ignored what you said, man? And he was like, nah, that's cool.
Yeah, HBO said we could have 10 more seasons, but how about 2?
George, please. George, please.
I just can't wait until the Duncan Egg show confirms that he's Hodor's, like Hodor and the mountain and anyone who's tall. That's got to be it.
yeah.
I bet. I don't know why I'm making fun of this. I love this stuff, but like, I bet that the prophecy, Aegon the Conqueror's prophecy, has been lost by this point. So like, Egg just has the dagger. Just
it's like Egg's carrying around the dagger. That's exactly what's good.
No.
Oh my gosh, I would love if like the dagger is something that his father gives him at the end of like the first story, where he's like, okay, you can travel to Squire, and here's this family dagger of ours. It's Valyrian. It's pretty cool, man. Just take it with you. There's no significance to it.
I'm telling you, that dagger is going to be.
I bet the seal he keeps in his boot with the dagger.
Yeah, that actually would. Yeah.
Look, if anyone's going to rediscover the Song of Ice and Fire prophecy, it would be Egg. But Lord, I don't need that in a Duncan Egg show.
When it happens, they're just going to find me the next day dead. Okay, I'm telling you right now, I can't take more of this Song of Ice and Fire shit in my Song of Ice and Fire shit.
I know it's a tough thing where it's just like, because like it's obviously like in the background of all these historical events, like it's it's clearly there, like in between the text, but like how they're in it just kind of sucks.
I despise it. It's the worst. Ugh.
It's not even from Aegon, guys. It's from Danny's the Dreamer.
Yeah, true. That's a truth nuke as well. Thank you.
Alright, guys. It was fun. Sweet dreams, but not gaming dreams.
I'm trying to get some damage. Let me go take a gummy. I'm trying to get some damage. Or damage.
I will welcome Alice.
Yeah, Matt's over there like, I can fix her.
Matt,
She don't need me.
yeah, she gonna fix you, brother. That's what's gonna happen.
He's like, I accept poison and all. She just looks at you. You're gonna die here. You're like, fuck it, it's fine. When I'm old, right? With you.
No. You're gonna die here. That's the only qualifier you're getting on that.
Yeah, you're like, I need you to give me some time on this one. A week, a month, 10 years. What do we got?
Is Matt Aemond?
What?
Are you Aemond?
I haven't seen him, but I can confirm he has more than one eye. So.
I was like, is Matt Smith Aemond? Is Matt Damon?
Yeah, I heard Matt Damon, and I was like,
I was like, Matt is
No.
I just heard Matt Damon.
I just started thinking of the brothel scenes and was like, well, I mean, good for you. I just hate your
I guess we knew what had to happen, right?
I was not expecting Craig in that moment. Thank you for that.
Are we okay?
Everybody doing good?
totally
Yeah.
fine.
What is happening?
I was like, is somebody crying?
I'm crying watching Sunfire get bullied.
Sunfire is like such a beautiful dragon, and like this is about the only
Is
hardly even saw Sunfire in the first season. Like,
good. I don't need to see that green Shud vehicle. Kill all greens. Roundhouse kick baby green into the floor.
whatever.
Not Aemond. Oh my God, Sunfire. He's just a baby. He's just a little baby.
Yeah, he's like, I make good for daddy. I Dracarys. I do.
My enemies are ontologically evil, and thus any attack against them is justified.
Yeah, well, look at like the look on Aegon's face when he was at the dragon pit, and Sunfire like nuzzled him in there. I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe this guy's not that bad. Like, what? I don't know how they did it. I was like, Aegon like is kind of a shit, and as far as we know, but maybe less of a shit than I thought.
he's terrible.
Adam, you have this struggle with yourself every week. Like, literally every week, you're like, I don't think Aegon's that bad a guy sometimes. Because
the child fights, and we're like, he's just a piece of shit. But then they're giving us stuff where you're like, I'd rather have him than Aemond. He'd do less damage in peacetime, right? I'm like going over the dudes like Aemond, Damon. Like I'm like trying to figure out who would be king. That's
Adam,
like,
it isn't November yet.
Yeah, right. Oh Lord. Oh yeah. Well, at least all of these dragon riders are in the prime of their youth.
So true.
That's something.
Yep.
Well, now they are.
Yeah, or were.
I have to apologize, but I'm assuming we're going to be on for a while, and I just cannot wear my good headphones. So you might hear a lot of this, but that is what it is.
I know
We're not a professional operation.
I don't hear what you.
Yeah, I don't know what you're.
saying.
Okay, good. Because sometimes the mic on my headphones picks up and gets all scrapey and whatever. So
Yeah.
I expect final recording.
I expect my housemate to come home and start speaking to me in Spanish. So it's whatever.
Oh, when I was editing last week's, I could hear Greg doing the dishes in my audio. Just
I heard that in real time.
I only heard that a few times. I heard him. There he is.
Yeah, that was
him on the podcast now.
He just told me to clean him myself. So
It
I
counts.
thought he said piss off. I was like,
Oh.
I don't think that picked up on the audio. Yes. Are we?
Are you recording this right now?
Yeah.
Just because you fart loud and blame it on me. You can get away with telling me.
All right, that's the bumper.
that's a truth nuke right there. He just dropped a truth nuke.
That's a total Aemond move.
Oh my God. Okay. All right, guys. See ya.
Good night.
Bye.